Okay, so this right leg's getting nice and strong, so I'm going to sit on the chair. So this is a bit asymmetrical, so I'm going to put something underneath my knee here. There we go, so my pelvis is more level. And I'm not weight bearing on this front foot at all. Alright, so I'm just going to feel how good this feels on my right. Nice hip flexor stretch, belly into the spine gently. My pelvis is nice and neutral, lifting up through my right side body, opening. And since I can't plant down with my foot, gosh, we really realize how much we use our feet, how important they are. I've got nothing to ground and counteract, so I'm going to need to put my hand on the chair here and just open. And I can do all sorts of things here, rotating, breathing. And that just feels nice on this whole side body. Nice spinal rotation. That feels great. And then I'm going to try coming down as if I'm doing a revolving extended side angle or revolved prayer twist. Still have to kind of use the chair because I just don't have that foot to anchor. But again, it feels good to at least try. I feel like flowing and just opening up into warrior two, maybe a reverse warrior, down to extended side angle, and back up. So this feels nice. Look, I'm doing yoga. And just this opening here of my hips, you know, when I someday do go back, when I can weight bear, even though it might not be 6 months or 4 months from now, you know, I'll still, the neuromotor patterning of, you know, of this opening up in here and this movement, you know, it won't be so foreign, and my proprioceptors, the receptors that sort of sense your body's position in space and movement, those joint proprioceptors, you know, they won't be so out of practice. I'm still moving in some ways. And I just can't even tell you how good that feels. Okay, I know I just kind of magically popped onto the other side, but I did get here by myself and with some maneuvering. Okay, so same thing, find my pelvis, my core, exhaling, pull my belly into the spine, lifting up and opening. Now I can ground down with my right foot, so that's nice, and just opening up, feeling a stretch through this whole left side body. Trying to relax my toes on my left there, trying not to clench. And then a nice rotation. And again, I would spend, you know, longer in that position, but just for time's sake, try the revolved prayer twist. I think it would be good to show you what I'm doing. So I just wanted to show you this view. So again, magically, we just flipped, but there we go, opening up, pressing out through my left knee, grounding on the bolster, and then out through the top of the crown of my head. I just feel the length. I can still go very deep into these poses. Those of you that are familiar with Ian Finn's work, he talks about the duo lines. So I still can access a lot of the duo lines even with a cast on. And opening up into a nice warrior two, and I'll flip around. Opening up into the most graceful warrior two you may have ever seen. So I'm just going to angle my knee a little bit. or it's really the hip that's kind of opened up. Otherwise that puts too much strain on my knee if I'm too turned in. Well, it takes a little bit of maneuvering, but that feels nice. And then exhaling down, extended side angle. And maybe up in a reverse warrior. And this has never been stretched from the day that I was injured till today. This whole left side of the body, I feel a little bit deep in the psoas, a little bit of QL. So that feels great, just to open up. It's probably the first time that I felt, you know, really quite good, because I don't know, I just feel good. That's all I can say. Okay, so now we are going to focus on the upper body. And those of you that have had crutches, you know how the wrists can get very, very sore. So I like to just do some wrist range of motion, both ways, just circling. And I like to do a nice wrist stretch, prayer stretch. You can do that, even flexion the other way. And this is a really nice stretch if you do have tennis elbow or lateral epicondylitis, or your wrist extensors, your forearm extensors are just really, really stiff. Make a fist, turn the thumb inwards, and just bend that wrist up, relax the neck, the shoulder. That's just a really, really nice stretch. Normally I would hold it a lot longer for maybe 10 slow breaths or so. But that really feels good. Relieves a lot of the stress. Triceps, of course, those are get really overworked. When crutch walking. So opening up here, looping the other arm around, and if you can grab the fingers, great. If not, use a belt. Opening, and of course both sides. Well, there's lots that we can still do. And then of course my favorite, Garudasana, eagle arms. Giving yourself a big hug. I think it's time to give myself a big hug and a little pat on the back. And coming up into Garudasana, thumbs face you. You can press the thumbs away from you, sort of like you're straightening the elbows. And then lift the hands to the sky, draw the shoulder blades down and back. Relax your jaw, your neck. Breathe into space between the shoulder blades. And find space. That's been very important for me this last week, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, just finding space. Breathe. And then I can slouch and pull my shoulder blades away from the spine. And every time I breathe in, I can feel my ribs opening up at the back. It feels so good. Switching arms, left one on top, giving myself a little hug and pat. Coming on up. Hands away from the face. Lift my hands to the sky. Shoulder blades draw down away from the ears. Turning my head one way. The other way. I would hold these much longer, and I breathe much better when I'm not talking. And then you can round forward, slouch, tuck the chin to the chest. And again, just, you know, when you're doing your asana practice, not even post-injury, but just all the time, tapping into physical space, but also mentally finding space between your thoughts, energetically finding space between each breath.
For more information on what I do and how I do it, and articles that I write, please visit my website at PhysioYoga.ca, and that will also tell you where I'm at, offering workshops and classes and speaking at conferences and teacher trainings. And on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Prosco Yoga. On Facebook, you can like my page, Prosco Physio Yoga Therapy, and I like to post some really interesting articles and videos of other resources and people that I respect.